Welcome back to the class. Children, we are continuing chapter 1, asexual and sexual reproduction in plants. Previous video, you might remember, we discussed vegetative reproduction in which natural methods plants how they are reproduces naturally by using stem, root and leaf. Apart from the natural methods, quite a good number of methods are used in agriculture and horticulture to propagate plants from their parts. Such methods are collectively called as artificial propagation. Some of the artificial propagation methods have been used as a human being for a long time, and they are collectively called as conventional methods. That means very old methods. But present day, the technology is being improved. New technology is being used for the propagation of plants. So, to produce large number of plants present day, we are using newer technology in a very short period of time. Such methods we used to call as modern methods. So types of artificial methods by which the vegetative reproduction takes place in plants are two types: conventional method or artificial vegetative propagation, modern method of artificial vegetative propagation. So first of all, we are going to start with conventional method of vegetative reproduction. So what are the methods we are going to see? Conventional methods in which we are going to see cutting, grafting, layering. Cutting, grafting and layering. These are the methods quite commonly using in horticulture practices, especially production of ornamental plants, ornamental flower producing plants, fruit eating plants. In horticulture we are using. So extensive usage of these methods helps to produce more plants or more propagules within a short period of time. So first we are going to start with cutting, the conventional method of artificial reproduction in plants by which cutting. What's meant by cutting? It's a method of producing new plants by cutting the parts of plants such as root, stem and leaves from the mother plant. I'm repeating, it is the method of producing a new plant by cutting the plant parts such as stem, root and leaf from the parent plant. The cut part is placed in a suitable medium for growth. Once the parts which produces root and grows into a new plant. So the cut parts, once they started to develop roots and grows into a new plant, so you can grow them as independent plant. Okay, depending upon the plant parts it is used, the cutting is divided into different types: root cutting, stem cutting, leaf cutting. So what are the examples? Root cutting, malus is an example for the root cutting. Stem cutting, moringa and hibiscus. You see, drumstick tree, moringa is nothing but drumstick tree. When the tree matures, some mature, one or two mature branches of the tree is cut off from the parent plant and kept buried in some distant place. After a few weeks later, the roots started to form, young leaves are arise from the buds, it become an independent plant. Even hibiscus also. Hibiscus is a shrub plant. The mature woody stem from the plant is separated by cutting and buried in another part and start to grow as a new independent plant. Begonia and Bryophyllum. As you are aware that Bryophyllum is producing adventitious buds on its leaf called as epiphyllous buds. You can cut into small pieces of the epiphyllous buds which grows on the notches of Bryophyllum leaves, and each one grow into independent plant. Most of the horticulture in which stem cutting is widely used. Stem cutting is widely used. Now let us continue with grafting. What is called grafting? Grafting means cut and paste. The lowest standard in which the teacher used to teach some creative work or artistic work by pasting two different color papers by creating boats or circles or different shapes. Here grafting, it does mean two different plant parts or parts of two different plants are joined, hence they continue to grow as a one plant. So grafting is a method by which two different plants are joined so that they can grow continuous as single plant. In this case, grafting, if you observe, grafting is possible only in the plants which are having vascular cambium. So cambium present only in dicots. So dicotyledon plants only it is possible, not in monocotyledon plants. In grafting, the two plants were commonly used. Of these two plants, the plant which is contacting soil or the plant which is in the soil called a stalk, STOC, which you can see in the picture, and the plant which is used to graft is called scion. Many plants which rise through by grafting, example citrus plants, mango, apple. Different types of grafting is under use based on the method of uniting the stalk and scion. So how will you unite the stalk and scion? Where the grafting is divided into, or grafting is many types. What are the types of grafting? See the slide. Bud grafting, approach grafting, tongue grafting, crown grafting, wedge grafting. I'm repeating: bud grafting, approach grafting, tongue grafting, crown grafting, wedge grafting. So let us start with different types of grafting, in which bud grafting. See the picture. The bud is being removed from the plant, somewhat woody plant. The bud is being removed by making a T-shaped incision on the stem, that is called stalk, and the bark is removed. Once the bud is removed, the scion bud with a little wood is placed in the incision beneath the bark. So first a T-shaped incision is made in the stalk and the bark is removed or lifted. The scion bud with a little wood is placed in the incision beneath the bark and properly bandaged. You can see the properly bandaged. The bud was removed from the stalk. It is a T-shaped incision is made on the stalk and the bark is lifted. The scion which is from the bud is removed is inserted. So from the scion, the bud is removed and it is inserted into the stalk, and finally it is bandaged with the polythene sheets or rubber sheets. Then bud started to grow. The next is approach grafting. So in the approach grafting, you can see the slender as well as the flexible stalk and CN only is combined. In this method, both the stalk and CN is remain rooted. Remain rooted means both will be growing in soil. One may be in the pot, another may be in the soil. The stalk grown into the pot, so it is brought very closer to the CN. Both of them should have similar thickness. You can see a small slice is cut off from both, and then the cut surface is brought near and tied together with the help of tape. You can see the stalk and CN both are brought together, which are similar in size and shape, as well as a thin slice was made on both the stalk and CN. You can refer the picture from your textbook also. They are brought together, held tightly by a tape. After 4 or 5 weeks later, where the tip of the stalk and the base of the CN cut off, and they detach to grow as a separate part. Detach to grow on a separate part. The next is tongue grafting. A CN and a stalk having same thickness is cut obliquely, and the CN is fit into the stalk, bounded with the help of tie. You can see tongue like cut was made, and the CN is inserted into the stalk, and both will be tied together. The next is crown grafting. Crown means top. When the stalk is larger in size, CNs are cut into wedge-shaped structure and inserted into the slits. Slits means small opening or clefts of the stalk. Stalk is the rooted part. So CNs are made into wedge-shaped structure and inserted into the slits or cleft of the stalk and fixed into the position. Once it is fixed, they are tightly wrapped with tape or fixed with grafting wax. The last one, wedge grafting. In this wedge grafting, a slit is made on the stalk or the bark is cut and removed. A twig of CN is inserted and it is tightly bound so that cambium of the two plants, that is stalk and CN, will be joined together. That is called wedge grafting. Mostly wedge grafting is practiced in woody plants, not in soft plants. So these are the different methods of grafting. Grafting is one of the important questions, can be asked in 5 marks. Thank you, children. Grafting, in which number of methods are there, followed by layering. Layering is a method the stem of the parent plant is allowed to develop roots while still in contact or intact. When the root develops from the rooted part is cut and planted to grow as a new individual plant. Example, Ixora coccinea and Jasminum. Normally Jasminum is practiced in most of the nursery gardens. Layering are two types, mound layering and air layering. So mound layering and air layering, by which horticulture is practicing to produce many young propagules in ornamental plants. So mound layering, you can see the mound layering. This method is applied for the plants having flexible branches. The lower branch which has leaves is to be bent to the ground, and a part of the stem is buried in the soil, and the tip of the branch is exposed above the soil. After the roots are emerged from the part of the stem which is buried in the soil, a cut is made in parent plant so that the young plant can be separated. The next one is air layering. So air layering is practiced in plants like guava, mango even. In this method, The stem is griddled, that means outer bark is removed at the nodal region, and hormones are applied in this region to promote fruiting, especially auxin like hormones. This portion is covered with a damp or moist soil using a polythene sheet. You can see the person having a polythene sheet in which damp soil is there. The root is emerged from these plants after 2 to 4 months. These branches are removed from the parent plant and grown into a separate or individual plant in a pot or sometimes on the ground. There are some advantages are in the conventional methods. Plants are produced through by the conventional methods are genetically uniform. Many plants can be produced very quickly through this method. Some plants which produce little or no seeds can be propagated, especially seedless plants. Such cases, plants can be produced in a shorter period of time. Plants can be propagated more economically by vegetative propagation. Example, Solanum tuberosum. Two different plants with desirable characters such as disease resistant and higher yield can be grafted so that new plant with the same desirable characters can be obtained. But conventional methods also have some disadvantages. Once the plants are infected by virus or virus infected plants, the parent which produce only infected plants or infected young plants. Vegetative structures used for the propagation which are bulky and so they are very difficult to handle. So large size and bulky size vegetative parts are not useful for in the conventional method to reproduce. Thank you, children.